Welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast. You're one of my favorite people. I got to dine with you the other night, so I was really excited about that. Just honored to get to be able to talk with you today. And I guess we'll just start, let you introduce yourself and tell you, a little bit about what you do here. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm Debra Coy, and I'm a little harder to introduce in terms of a title than some people because I wear a few different hats. But very briefly, my background is as a longtime investment research and investor in the water sector. I worked a lot of years for XPB Water Partners, which is a large growth equity fund investing in water. I'm still an advisor to them. And I'm on the board of a water utility, and I'm on the board of a couple of other water-related companies. And I'm a former judge for Imagine H2O, and I'm just really passionate about water innovation. So that's how it all ties together.
Yeah, I think I was going to say, well, you're definitely passionate about water. I want to stay in the water industry after the journey.
And she's super smart too. I always go to her for advice. I am Cindy Wallis-Lage. I am currently the Executive Director for Sustainability and Resilience for Black & Veatch, so enterprise-wide across all of the different markets that we serve. But long time engagement in the water sector. I was president of our water business for the last 10 years. And I actually came up into the water space through the technical arena. So I was a technical specialist in designing treatment facilities for many, many years. So it's exciting to see the technology change over time and to be able to be a part of seeing that transformation that we need to make, still need to make more, but where we have come today from where we were a few decades ago is significant.
It was so exciting to hear you talk today about that. I'm like, Cindy's in the right job. She's finally getting to put all the pieces together to really make this sustainability and resiliency stuff work, because we can't do it in these little silos like we've always done it. We've always been bad about that in the water sector.
Yep.
And
kind of close in. It's like this is we're water. Yeah. And we need to be we're open.
I'm so excited about your new role in Black & Veatch.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. And we are too. We're excited to be able to hear from you and the opportunity to hear you speak and inspire us all. And I guess because you're passionate about water, that's an easy answer to be here, right? But what brought you to the water tower for this event?
So I came in, initially I was asked, and then I followed for various reasons, but Melissa had reached out to me. I've been talking to her on this journey as she's been seeing where this was going to go and creating this space for many years. And it's been exciting to see her take that dream and turn it into reality. She's also been a tremendous supporter to me over many, many, many years that I have known her. And I wanted to be a supporter to her for what she's accomplished, because it's fantastic. This is really a tremendous facility. And then to build on that, it is everything it represents as to what we need to do, right? If you look at the opportunities to really transform in this space, to be able to make a difference in the water sector, to be able to make a difference in our communities, because water is so foundational to everything that we do, we need to be much more collaborative. We need to be much more holistic in our thinking. And when you look at the ecosystem that the water tower is wanting to create, to be able to bring those different perspectives and have diversity of insight and bring the community in. Gosh, we need to educate the community, right? It's a hidden infrastructure, hidden sector so many times, and people don't understand the influence. So how do we educate and bring in different viewpoints? How do we find that, I call it a safe space to collaborate together, that you have OEMs, you have regulators, you have elected officials, you have consultants and scientists, and everybody thinking together of how to build forward in a much better way and transform our space and not get caught in the old. One of the phrases I used in my presentation today was the opportunity to use the water tower to focus on what could be versus that historical thinking of what should be. And with Melissa in charge, it'll be all about what could be. So
yeah, I think so. I came with less knowledge. I've been talking to Melissa about the water tower for some years, so I knew about it conceptually. And actually, she and Cindy said, you really need to be here for this opening event. So I came because I've been looking for, and I believe that this could be, and I'm so much more excited since I got here than when I decided to come. I'm looking for the place that can accelerate some of these changes that we need to make, because the things that Cindy has been talking about, to be perfectly honest, have been true for a while. But we're very slow to move it forward.
Mhm.
And when you think about how other industries move in the world now, especially with technology, things move at the speed of light practically. And here in water, we're just so used to going, well, it might be risky. We can't move too fast. We got to be careful. We're stewarding the public good. And meanwhile, we're
Getting
under
left,
we're
getting left
under
behind.
we're
Yeah.
getting left behind, right? We're under investing. We're investing inefficiently. And the thing that excites me about this is that it has the vision to bring the right people together so that we can accelerate, so we can move things faster. I loved one of the things that you said. Melissa and I were standing next to each other, and she said, the people we've been waiting for is us, or we are the people we've been waiting
Yes.
for. I'm like, yes, like we got to just go and do. And I think that we haven't done a great job at generating that level of excitement. I said this to you earlier. You walk around here and, this is what you read is like a Google campus, or, I mean, it's so far on a smaller scale, but, this is the feeling of what all of those fast moving tech companies do, which is have the great little spaces where people can collaborate and they can move fast. And this has the feel that it can finally bring that to the water sector. And it's unique. I've seen a few other interesting things,
Not
but
like this.
not like this. Mhm.
Yeah, I've heard, I've been doing interviews all day, and I keep hearing that word innovation throughout all of the, I didn't bring it up. It's just, that's what they have been talking about since they were here, this innovative space. But even the space itself, like you said, the architecture, design, the lighting, everything has had thought put into it to make it the
Mhm.
best space for collaboration. So you feel good all day. I mean, I'm not drained or anything after being here today, which is definitely a testament to that and creating that
Mhm.
space and really seeing all of the people say, okay, I'm just so excited to be able to collaborate and talk to these people that I didn't know or have access to before. And they're learning from being here and just talking to other people.
I think the benefit you have is it's a space that isn't about creating competition. It's about creating collaboration. And so you can bring people in who maybe have felt they're competing in other spaces, but they maybe now have that opportunity to operate in a collaborative, not a competitive environment. That's what I really want to see
And
fostered,
there's
because
competitors in
yeah,
here. I mean, on
and
the
it's
face
like,
of it.
what are we
Yeah.
going to do together? How do we create something different? And the other piece, I had this conversation earlier today. We're just not attracting into our sector the workforce that we need, and we need to get a much more visible message out there of the value of water, and why it matters to be a part of this community, why to be a part of the water community. And it's that mission and purpose. And young professionals are about mission and
I think they
purpose.
care about that.
And they are.
do.
And if you can showcase how it lines up, how you're making a difference in your community, how you're making it more livable, that you're increasing quality of life, that you are providing economic development, that you are bettering the environment. I mean, that just plays into Earth Day, but it plays into everything that we need to have happen. And I think it helps address some of those global risks that we see in the environmental space that are quite significant and that have been highlighted for several years now of that continuing challenge. So I think we need to tune our own horn a lot more.
And get the best and the brightest. I mean, my goal would be that, you're coming out of college and you're looking at where you want to work, and you're like, well, I could go to this company and write the next iPhone app, or I could go and change the world in water.
Save the world.
Save the world. I mean, literally save the world. Andrew talked about the underserved communities, and it's just shocking, how many people in this country, never mind the third world, don't have access to safe and reliable water supplies. It's shocking how many very costly economic impacts happen with declining water infrastructure. I mean, it really is. I'm hopeful that a place like this can help the next generation rethink what it means to have, the most exciting career.
Yeah, I would love for people to come out and straight out of college say they want to work in water. That would be wonderful.
I do my best to send that message when I get to college. It's like, this is where you want to be.
Yes. And okay, so I can't let y'all go without talking empowering women, because y'all both are very empowered women. I can see it. I can see it with each other, and what y'all have done for Melissa here too, just supporting her and in this project of being here. But in the industry, we are. I think we need to have more of these community of women together, and so is that part of your mission? Is it something that you want to see happen? Can y'all talk a little bit about just what it means to be an empowering woman?
Yeah, of course. I think it needs to be part of the mission, because we are at a place in kind of the evolution of the American workforce where women have suffered a lot of setbacks, particularly over the last 2 years, that they are finding that, as we've talked about, you can't have it all. It's hard to work and have a family, and we're still at the point in our culture where mostly women are responsible for the families. And so to be really successful in this exciting future that we've talked about, we have to consider the other 50% of the population. Or maybe it's 51% now that women make up, or something like that.
It's definitely growing.
And more women are coming out of all kinds of different avenues of school that can impact this industry. And how can we attract them, and how can we keep them, and how can we utilize their skill sets?
And provide flexibility.
Yes.
Not rigidity.
Keep them.
So to keep them, it takes flexibility.
Yeah.
And I think it also takes us having that community and role models and support system for women. I've been in this industry almost 20 years now, and is a very male-dominated space. And so I didn't even realize that for the first 10 years. But then you start getting in, you're trying to kind of make waves, if you will, grow in your career, and you see some challenges and you don't really know how to handle them. But if you had somebody to go to and ask, just their opinion, their support, or even the skills, hey, you have that skill. And sometimes it's just easier to do that with a peer. And we want to make it easier for both men and women to work together. But I think it's something about that sisterhood that really does help you brings the encouragement that you need to get to the next level.
You can tell that Cindy and I have done some of that together over the years, and I know that she has done it informally with a lot of people. I've heard you speak at a lot of conferences, and I've heard you speak specifically on the issues of being a woman in the industry. It hasn't always been. We probably haven't had enough formal support for women in this industry throughout different avenues. So it's been. Women taking on kind of the responsibility of being now are we big sisters instead of little,
that's what we'll go with. I like the big sister
instead of little sisters.
Yeah.
I do think that it's incumbent on all of us who are a little more senior women in the industry to take on that responsibility. Absolutely.
One of the things that I think is helpful is what I try to do, and I have been pleased when it has worked well, is reaching out and just saying, hey, I saw this opportunity. I thought of you. Have you considered? And a lot of times the answer is, oh, no. I mean, I'm good. And I'm like, no, I really think you should consider it, because you can do it. And really just that affirmative of, you should try it. Well, I don't know that I have all of the skills. That's okay. You don't need to have all of the skills. You have a passion, you have curiosity, you are intelligent, so put your name in. And sometimes it is saying, put your name in, and even if you didn't get the position, it's okay. Think of what you learn in the journey, right? So I think we get caught in like, I'm not going to put my hand up because what if I didn't get selected and then I failed, right? As opposed to, I learned in the journey. My name got out there. Other opportunities. I had a woman who I was working with, and I had she had come to me and said she was interested in this one role, but she was afraid that she would not be considered. And I said, I think you should put your name in, and you don't know. Maybe it'll come your way, maybe it won't. And she didn't get that role, but it gave her confidence that another role, which was way more impactful, to put her name in, and she got that role. And I have watched her just blossom and add so much value. And so sometimes we just need to not wait for someone to come to us and say, what do you think? It is to go to them to say, I think you should put your hand up. I think you should engage in this. And I'll support you. I'll support you to do it. And because I can think, well, I really didn't have any female role models above me coming into my roles. But I did have the fortune of having some really strong male mentors who told me, put your hand up. I'll support you. You can have a safety net. You can do this. And sometimes that's just what you need,
I
right?
think that concept is really critical as well. That, it's not, women versus men. It's really educating men about being champions and encouraging people to speak up, because let's be real, if you have, 5 guys and 5 girls in the room, chances are, especially earlier in their career, the guy's going to be more willing to speak up. So I think it takes champions at various levels and across, both men and women and all different levels of the organization to especially encourage young women to speak up.
Yeah, and just share our knowledge with people. Like that's even that story. That was because somebody did that for you, right? They said you can do this, and therefore if you tell this person, it's going to affect them in that same way. That's going to encourage them. They're going to believe in themselves because you believed in them, not because they believed in themselves first. So I just thank y'all for being here, for being willing to be advocates for our industry, and definitely women in industry, because regardless if you wanted to be called the role models, you are it. And just thank you again for supporting the water tower. And anything else that you want to leave our listeners with?
Support the water tower, and support it in ways maybe that aren't the fact that you're right here in Atlanta, but rather thinking about other ways to send in ideas. I would think it'd be very open, ways to collaborate in your own communities that can allow you to have the water tower thinking of that ecosystem. Be willing to bring in diversity into the conversation. Sometimes we want to talk amongst ourselves in the water sector an awful lot, and we need to talk out broadly and really bring people into the conversation as opposed to just talking within our own little silos.
It's good information.
I don't think I could have said it better myself.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for being here with us.
Thanks.